Hi. Hey, I'm gonna try to offer some help with Japanese. Uh, it's kind of like something that I'm gonna learn very slowly myself, but I already got the ear tuning part of it done. I got ear tuning syllables written. So I'm just gonna share the audiobook that I'm going to eventually learn, and I'm gonna tell you how I would go about learning Japanese. I'm gonna learn, although I'm not gonna put a lot of effort into this. Um, First of all, you start listening to an audiobook you're going to learn, okay? And that's the one I'm going to post to this video. Passive listening to it means you're not paying any attention to it. You're playing your favorite music, not in Japanese, whatever your favorite music is, your favorite program, your favorite TV show, not in Japanese, just whatever you want. You just go about your normal life. You want to have the Japanese playing in the same room and ignoring it, okay? So, step one. Step two, do ear tuning exercises. Well, they were never in existence until last year when I kind of invented them with help, mind you. I came up with the idea, but someone else had to write them for me. They wrote them for me for Hindi, and they worked. Um, anyway, I've tuned my ear into many languages now, many accents. It's pretty quick. For Japanese, I was already tuned into to Korean. So to go from that to get tuned into Japanese is a matter of doing some dictation, double checking it, do a little more dictation, and I got pretty good. But so you got what I've already developed by this cycle of writing them, doing ear tuning exercises to them, get a better ear for Japanese, rewrite them, get an even better ear, rewrite them. It's a cycle, right? Go through like I don't know. I personally went through this. I don't know, probably 9 times with Japanese ear tuning syllables, and I was already hearing them fairly well because I was tuned into Korean pretty good, not too far off. So ear tuning exercises. All that is I'm representing what you are hearing syllable by syllable in terms of English letters. So I'm just my English letters are basically describing what a syllable sounds like, just so that you got something your eyes can follow. You're not talking, you're just listening. Your eyes can follow these ear tuning syllables as you're listening to the Japanese speaker. And you and now you can't actually do that because your ear is not tuned into Japanese, but that's why you're doing them, right? It just takes a couple hours for Japanese, 2 hours of your time, that's it. I'm going to tell you to, first of all, listen to Japanese passively, like 21 hours, like 1 week, 3 hours a day. Then you start doing the ear tuning exercises. Do a half hour one morning, keep listening to Japanese, mind you, all day, 3 hours. At night, do another half hour of the ear tuning exercises. A couple days of that, you're going to hear Japanese pretty good. In other words, your speech center is going to lock into the syllable pattern. You'll hear clear speech instead of any kind of a buzz, right? You won't hear bzz, bzz, bzz. In your Japanese, you have nice clear syllables. And then from there, though, you keep listening passively and you keep doing the ear tuning syllables because you want a native ear for it, not just a good ear for it. Now, am I going to get much past that? I don't know. It's not in my priority list. I plan on learning more Japanese, but how much I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to teach you Japanese here. I'm just trying to get you started with what I can help you with. Okay. Um, I will go on. Just okay. If I were to learn Japanese, the way I'm gonna learn is this. Once I get a good ear for it, I'm gonna figure out look up what uh, break down what the first page means and why. Now, this audiobook has the English translation right at the bottom, but it doesn't say how the Japanese words become the English. Well, I know basic Japanese grammar because it's similar to Korean grammar, which I know Korean, so not that great, but I know the grammar. And so I don't think it'd be that tough for me to figure out all that. But here's how we'll go about learning Japanese. One sentence at a time. Okay. You figure out what one sentence is. The next sentence. You might want to do a bit of get several minutes of Japanese that you know what it means. Well, it depends what your level. But anyway, so then when you know what that sentence means, you look over your notes. Okay, I know what it means. It's not studying per se. You just got to know what it means for the moment. And then you listen to the Japanese, which you can hear quite well because you've been doing the ear tuning exercises along with the passive listening. Okay, you listen to it a few times while reading it, which you can because it's part of what ear tuning took care of. Okay, you read it by the ear tuning syllables. I mean, you're looking at the ear tuning syllables. You're not reading them out loud, but it's a listening exercise, right? Okay, then what? Well, you don't want to study. No reason to study. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You want to take the Japanese letters and put those over the top of the ear tuning syllables. So once you know exactly what the Japanese sounds like, then you start transferring your ear tuning exercises and your read throughs up to the Japanese letters. So you just learn them automatically. You know what they sound like already. It's like any Japanese kid's going to already be speaking Japanese before they're introduced to the Japanese alphabet. So don't go studying the Japanese alphabet. Learn how to hear it correctly, then overlay the Japanese alphabet onto the ear tuning syllables. Well, how about the symbols? Same thing. Well, the symbols in this audiobook, they give you the Japanese letters, so you know how to pronounce it, right? You do the same thing. You don't try to memorize that symbol. First of all, you read throughs and you know how it sounds, so it's part of your ear tuning exercises. It becomes part of your read throughs. So your knowledge of what things should sound like transfer into the letters, then not just the letters, but any symbols within the sentence. So you know what a sentence means. You know what it all sounds like. You know what these symbols sound like. You know what they mean. Okay. Then, well, where's the memorization come in? There ain't any, because you're going to keep reading. You're going to keep reading this stuff. You just automatically know what these symbols are pretty soon, right? It's like your speech center is pretty amazing about drawing them. Well, okay, now once you know them, yeah, you probably want to spend time learning to draw Japanese characters, right? I mean, I tell the same people when I teach people Mandarin, they want to know how to draw them, but don't worry about how to draw them until after you can recognize them. Okay, and I don't know how to do the whole keyboard input for Japanese. It's one of the things on my to-do list. So okay, that's it. I hope that you find this helpful. I'm going to attach the link to the video and the ear tuning syllables to use and directions how to do ear tuning exercises. You can start today, but don't just do those, not do the passive listening. I generally get people to do passive listening, make sure they're doing that before I give them ear tuning syllables. That way they won't try to jump right to the ear tuning syllables, never get in the habit of doing the passive listening. Okay, that passive listening is that you're always going to have like 3 hours a day in the background while you're learning Japanese. It's going to promote continued ear tuning as long as you're doing the ear tuning exercises with it, and it's going to help you soak up the language as long as you keep doing the read throughs. Oh, I didn't describe read throughs all the way, I don't think. Read throughs, that means you look over your notes, then you read and listen 3 times to that Japanese sentence or sentences, depending on your level, how many you want to read at the same time. Um, third step, close your eyes and listen to the Japanese because, hey, in the long run, you want to be able to hear Japanese without reading it, right? Okay, in other words, someone speaks Japanese to you or hear it on TV, you want to know what they said without having to read subtitles or. Okay, now, what if you just listened to that Japanese 3 times and you really don't understand it? You're like, well, maybe I should go and look over what it means again and go through all the read-throughs again and again until I get it. No, 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 no. That's studying. No. You're just going to quickly look at what the Japanese sentence means. Listen 3 times, listen 3 times, maybe glance at your notes one more time. Now close your eyes and just listen and move on to the next sentence. Your speech center is it's a language supercomputer, okay? You don't need to learn Japanese. You need to let your speech center teach you Japanese every time you go to sleep. The speech center has been hearing this Japanese and getting the definitions read or in your mind before hearing it. It puts those two things together, and every day you wake up knowing more Japanese or whatever your target language is. So yeah, don't try to study Japanese. Absorb it with these read-throughs. Look over the definitions briefly. Listen while reading 3 times. Close your eyes, just listen 3 times, and let your speech center do the rest overnight. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, explore my channel. I teach many languages. Um, you might want to learn more than just Japanese. Comment. Let me know who you are, what I might be able to help you with language wise. Like I plan on teaching all these languages in someday, in a whole bunch of other languages. A lot of them I'm just teaching English. There's a couple like Dutch and English. English I'm teaching right now so far in Spanish and Portuguese and French. Dutch I'm teaching in English and Italian. But maybe what's the best combination you'd like? Let me know in the comments somewhere. Um, and share this video, share my channel. Okay. And everybody have a great day. Bye bye. This is Lee Solden. And you can contact me on Facebook Messenger. It's the only place I do audio calls with people is on Facebook Messenger. Bye bye.